Hi again, everybody. This video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and here's her story. Hi, Ollie. Thank you for doing my story last time for free. I still don't have a job, so I hope my contribution is enough. You may remember me from the video about being the golden child's emotional tampon. Thank you again for your advice on the situation. I didn't go to the wedding. I was consumed, paralyzed by fear without a verbal confrontation, so I just stayed away. I didn't call. I just spent the day with my fiance and tried to forget about my anxiety. It almost worked, except she showed up to the house the next day with her new husband. I was prepared for yelling. She said, "So you didn't show up." I wanted to curl up in a ball, I swear. My brother mostly spoke with her. I was so happy that she agreed to celebrate alone after her honeymoon. I am mostly sure that she meant to lay into me and my brother for not going, but she decided not to when he intervened. This is sort of related to the topic of this letter. I've come to the realization that I really used to like writing out most of my feelings, but at some point I stopped because my parents would steal my diaries and beat me for complaining about them in it. Well, why do you think that is? Because you were writing the truth and they didn't want the truth to get out. I remember once writing an entry of silly thoughts I had, full of curse words. My mother found it and made me read it out loud in the kitchen for my family to humiliate me. She then made me write Bible verses hundreds of times because swearing is a sin. Needless to say, she ruined one of the only sanity retaining tools for me. This is me claiming it back. I hope it's not too long, but I need to tell this story and I need the support because I'm feeling way too much now. Growing up, I always felt cursed. I don't know why I was chosen for this treatment. I know the primary source of narcissistic supply for both my parents, but knowing the reason for it would have helped with the confusion that I felt. I remember being in the first grade and my mother telling me that I was not allowed to go to the Christmas party at school because we don't believe in Santa. This set the tone for the rest of my life. I was isolated early on. My parents would force me to do extra schoolwork versus going to socialize with people. I never went out and people never came to see me. There was never a reason behind it. I would make a mess of something and weeks later I couldn't do anything after school, but because I was still being punished for it. I was never in any clubs. I had friends, don't get me wrong, but you'd never know it because they couldn't call or be over. As time went on, she would take the phones off the wall so they couldn't call me at night. I was in 5th grade before, at long last, I could invite a friend over. It was my birthday. She was white with ADHD and I was black. My father berated her the entire time and openly made fun of her. She told him to shut up and he threatened to open the door and kick her out of the moving car. I was devastated by it. House was a prison. I would get beatings, I shit you not, every single day. I wasn't doing homework fast enough, or I wasn't being clean enough, or I was drawing in class. It didn't matter. Anything I did was worth a full-on beating. I got hit with belts, the buckle of a belt, extension cords, and I even remember having the bed frame flipped over on me, a child who struggled to weigh 0 pounds in elementary school. I would be so sad or be hurting so badly that I'd go to school sometimes and just lay my head down and cry because I couldn't figure out why. I used to see the counselor a lot. I'm glad that people are learning about this now because I swear I told her all of this and she would just say that when I was older I would understand. I'll never understand any of this. And none of us do. And none of us do. You know, something about black culture that always confused me is that getting the switch, hitting with the extension cords, hitting with belts. Like, now it happens with all races, but it seems it happens a lot in black families. Considering black history in this country with slavery and lynchings and whippings and beatings, you would think that would be the last thing a black parent would want to do to one of their kids. But then you got the religion tied into it, and the not believing in Santa is, I would imagine, is born again Christian or not born again, Jehovah's Witness. It fucks you up. Fucks you up. You know, and Charlene definitely would understand about the writing because her parents did the same thing. Beat her, humiliated her. She'd write funny stories with curses. She'd draw pictures of girls. They call her disgusting, to the point now where she's paralyzed. She can do so much and then she's paralyzed. That's a common thing. It wasn't long before I really began to hate my golden child sister. You see, my father was cruel to both of us, but when my mother saw how he was beating us, she told him that he couldn't hit her anymore. But I was fair game. She had friends over and joined many clubs, not me. Later in life, my mother enrolled me in some of the very same ones, only to yank me out of them abruptly when I became comfortable. That's her game. She loves to do that to me and only me. It makes me angry at life because I should be happy as fuck right now. But I know that I'll never have what my sister and mother are going to have. No big ceremony, no childhood friends for the wedding, no real wedding, no family. In my teens, I just became bitter and depressed as I realized that there was no escape. My father was molesting a cousin under our roof, and I told my mother about it. So soon it was just me and this woman after my father went to jail. Instead of accepting that my depression was justified, she amped up the humiliation and abuse. I went in and out of counseling, originally because of the implications of witnessing molestation. However, once I began to really talk and get a therapist interested in addressing her, she would remove me from them and start me with someone else. Sound familiar? One situation in particular that baffled me was when she threw my shoe at my face and scratched my eye. Showed it to my counselor in high school, and even though it meant admitting that I was going to a school that was not in my neighborhood, CPS came and took a statement and checked me for marks. They noticed the bruises and also that I had been cutting myself. Since my mother wasn't home, I think my father warned her to stay away. They left an order for her to appear to give a statement. That night she threw the phone book in front of me at the table and told me to find a psychiatrist because in the morning I was going away. They almost held me for 3 days, but instead gave me to my narcissistic aunt. When she finally allowed me to come back, by allow I mean she came over demanding my aunt give me back and blocked her until she complied. I tried to do everything right. I was doing everything right, but one day I came in late from school. I was power walking to make up for the lost time I had to walk. 2 miles home. I stopped in the house of a kid that I would walk home with and used his phone to call home and let her know I'd be home in 30 minutes. She drove up the street and stopped me on the sidewalk. She slapped the taste out of my mouth and questioned me about a boy's name appearing on the caller ID. She made me pack my bags and told me to enjoy my last meal under her roof. She dropped me at my pedophile father's Bible study with my suitcase, stuck her head in the door and shouted, "She's your problem now." Before I graduated, I got in legal trouble. I think bullies can smell the abuse on me because I was being bullied all the time. I cut one of them and got expelled for a year. I really made an effort to do everything not to go to jail. I took myself to anger management, where I met an amazing counselor who really listened to me, day or night, to an alternative school, even to work and community service. I was doing well. She forced me to quit my job. She then started saying that I owed her money for court costs, which I had been paying off before she made me quit. She started a huge argument in front of my father, who tag teamed me. Why is your father around after molesting your cousin? When I refused to engage, they argued me into my room. My father called me upstairs, screaming at me to apologize to my bitch mother. I refused. He threatened to throw me down the stairs. The basement had a solid concrete floor. I was crying and I asked if he would really kill me. She just stepped back and picked me up and threw me on the kitchen floor, hitting me with closed fists. I left then and there was I left then I left then and there when she lied to the police and told them that I beat myself up. I gave her my prom dress and shoes. I gave her back my prom dress and shoes before I left and didn't call her. As I was signing up for graduation, I found out she took back my prom tickets. She came up to the high school to taunt me. I nearly fought her in the hallways. I refused to go to my graduation. I did not want to see her or my family there pretending like they're remotely responsible for seeing me succeed. I was told that she had thrown a party for us, me, my sister, and my younger brother, because we were all graduating from our respective grades. She apparently locked herself in the room crying all day because I hadn't showed up that day. Yeah, right. I went into the military where she sent messages to my base saying that I had been kidnapped, and they made me call her. I failed out of it due to medical concerns and also depression. Despite everything, I tried again, working hard in school. I would spend a year and a half in junior college boosting my grades and prepping myself for a 4-year college. It all seemed so refreshing and clear. Of course, because my mother was in my life, this period of me doing well couldn't last. When the financial aid office requested her information, she refused to give it and forced me to drop out. I've been working so hard to make something work, and it seems like everything fails for me. Now that I have gotten most of what really hurts out in the open, here's my question. Since all of my childhood has been pain, isolation, setbacks, what do I do now that I'm free? I'm convinced my fiance is going to leave me any day, as soon as he gets tired of me. He says that he's here to stay, and I'm thankful for him. But I know that as soon as he goes away, I'll just have me and all the pain that's been put into me over the years. How can I start again, making relationships again, when I don't know how? I'll tell you this. Charlene thinks I'm going to leave her every single day. That last paragraph could have been written by her. I'm going to leave her. She's going to be all alone with nothing. You and her have very similar backgrounds. But instead of not going to her graduation, she decided to wear a blue-haired wig and embarrass her mother and father, trying to sit there and suck up accolades. This woman has no problem openly taunting you. This woman has no problem showing up at your school to start a fight, calling the police, start a fight, selling back your prom dress and shoes and prom tickets, dropping you back off with a father who's a convicted child molester. So here's my question back to you and to many of you. Why are you keeping her anonymous? Why are you keeping yourself anonymous? It's very hard to meet people if you're going to hide. Now, I understand a lot of people want to stay anonymous. And I understand the reasons why. But staying anonymous, I think. Sending me your story anonymous, and you can still do it. I mean, I'm not saying don't. Aren't you still just another way of hiding? You're getting your story out. You're getting it personally validated. But you're not calling out the narc. You're not exposing the narc for who and what they really are in the way you should. This is a woman who showed up at your high school to taunt you, has sabotaged you with financial aid and every turn she can. And you know what? It sounds like one of the, how could somebody do this? This woman's doing this shit. Absolutely, because I've had all of these manipulation tactics to have it, pull it away, all of it. All of it. You move forward by exposing your mother. You move forward by not hiding behind anonymity. You move forward by calling out the disgusting Jehovah's Witness church, the disgusting beatings and behaviors that your parents, as black man and woman, post-slavery, with all the history, Black Lives Matter and slavery and lynchings and all that, can beat their own kid the same way a slave master did. And then they want to hide behind religion and God. And I'm sure in many cases their own race, how, in their case, I'm sure, okay, they bring up, the slavery thing, and I bet it. And I'm not making a distinction either way on that, though I'm sure people know how I feel at this point. But for them to be like that, because I could tell you that's who they are, and then treat their kids the same way black people were treated on the slave plantation, is very telling to their hypocrisy and that stupid religion they're following. That is nothing more than an excuse to abuse. Remember, they made fun of you for writing the truth in the journals. Go back to the beginning of your story. Made fun of you, humiliated you. Why? Because it was the truth. And they didn't want it getting out. There's your power. Much like my parents can't deal with being called out to the point where 6 years later they're commenting and doing bullshit on my channel. That's what happens. They spiral, they crash. When you show them, I'm not afraid of you. And you tell the narcissist you're not afraid of them by coming out of the cloak of anonymity and stop giving it to them as well. That's how you move forward, and that's how you gain confidence. Because once you see that the tables are really turning, that's where you get your confidence from. And that's where you see what total and complete fraudulent bullshit the narcissist really is. So, thank you for your contribution. I really appreciate it. What you're going through, I understand. Anything you give is a big commitment, so I thank you. Thank you for your story, and you are a very, very good writer. This was very easy to read. So please remember that. You can write, you have a talent, it's very easy to read. Follow your passion. Much like I'm trying to succeed, or I am succeeding, off the dysfunction of my parents, you should do the same. You should write a story based on your family, based on your where they know it's them, and lay it all out there. You have the talent to do it. You use their dysfunction against them. You got all that hurt and all that pain and all of that character development, whether you want to do your real story or come up with some kind of fictitious fake story based on the horrible people that you have encountered in your life. And think about it, with your writing ability, your ability to overcome, and the type of characters you've had in your life, you got tools in front of you. Use them. Use them. So again, thank you, and thank you for the story. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, or a narcissist you'd like to expose, you know what to do with my email and the PayPal link in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.